Hello. Today I will talk about the death penalty. Death penalty, or also referred to as the capital punishment, is the execution and killing of convicts by the state as punishment for the crimes that they committed. Crimes that can result in the death punishment are called capital offenses, such as murder, rape, treason, and other crimes. The death sentence is banned in most countries, like the European countries, but it is still widely practiced in America, Saudi Arabia, and other countries such as Indonesia. I oppose the death penalty for a number of reasons, and I will discuss them in this oral presentation. First of all, it's a cruel and inhumane punishment. I think that the death penalty is morally wrong because it involves the cruel taking of another human life. No matter what he did, that is not justifiable. The methods of execution that are carried out today in the world are still very inhumane, like the lethal injection, electrocution, and other ways of execution that all involve physical torture. It is a cruel and unusual, contrary to popular belief, the death sentence does not act as a deterrent to crime. During the last century, in the 50 years ago, almost 5,000 people were on death row, and many of them were executed, about 65. But in the current year, about 2,000, only one was executed. But the crime rates did not decrease due to the increase in the execution of people. Most crimes that receive the death penalty are usually crimes of passion, meaning that they are not premeditated, but happen due to moments of anger and temporary loss of logic. So the death penalty does not act as a deterrent to crime, because in most cases criminals that are caught and sentenced to death don't think about the consequences of their actions before committing the crime. The death sentence defeats human dignity and human rights. I think that the death sentence is the coldest, most premeditated form of homicide of all, and it lowers the state and the government to the moral level of the criminal, and it raises the criminal to moral equality with the social order. So the government basically becomes a machine of retribution and revenge of the victims. This degrades the moral principles that most governments adhere to. I think one of the most important points I have against the death penalty is the possibility of killing an innocent person. Obviously, the death penalty is irreversible. In the past years, in the past century actually, there have been 23 cases of execution where the convict was eventually exonerated. The problem with this is that a prisoner that is found to be innocent can be free to live a normal life after all, but neither release nor compensation is possible for a corpse. Another thing is the denial of basic rights. According to the Human Rights Association, capital punishment overrules the most basic human right, which is the right to live. Human life has fundamental value. The right of human life is denied by the death penalty, obviously. People that demand the death sentence should be that the death sentence should be performed usually do this out of their pure emotions toward the criminal, and thus they do not study the context in which the crime was committed and whether it is completely right to use the death penalty if the crime happens in an unusual context. So they do not study the context in which the crime has occurred. Therefore, the death sentence can't be morally justified just because it feels right. I believe that the very prospect of taking away a human life is unconscionable. Punishing murder by murder is in and of itself hypocritical. Prisoners are called correctional facilities for a reason, which is rehabilitation. There is always a possibility that the convict may feel remorse for his actions and give back to society in many ways. Capital punishment is a contradiction, finally, because the government preaches non-violence and tolerance, and yet they insult the very essence of their teachings by carrying out the death sentence. Thank you.